and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick, and I'm here with Sheriff Matthew Wade, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Sheriff.
John, it's always good to be on the show. My favorite time of the year is here. School has started, football started, and it seems like fall might be hopefully coming to the air.
Weather's going to be cooler, but you know what? You guys were out there in the hot sun last week. Let's look at the count.
Hey, 7 arrests this week brings our count up to 5,093 people arrested, all because somebody's willing to get involved, and we appreciate the help. We cannot do it without you. So this is the social contract we have with each other is we provide services for you to have a better and safe community. We have to do it together.
And talking about a better and safe community, Sheriff, you've spent some money on school safety this week.
Absolutely. You know, after what happened in May in Texas, that got everybody's attention. All summer long we've met. We found ways that we can improve on our school resource officer program. And one of the ways is buying ballistic shields for each one of our officers. And we were able to purchase 7 of those shields earlier in the summer, and they come in yesterday, and we were able to take the picture. And every SRO has that ballistic shield, and along with that, they have been given training to know that if something happens, they have to act. And that's one of the things that I think people complained that didn't happen in Texas. And here, we pray to God we never have to use those shields, and we pray that we take care of our children the best we can, and always do so with integrity and courage. So
rigged and ready, the first line of defense in school safety, the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we're going to have our favorite mayor of Hobson City with us, and our first half of the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up on our lineup this week, Leadon Colson. Miss Colson, last known to be living in Cedar Bluff. She's wanted for bond revocation, trafficking in methamphetamine, possession of a controlled substance, and use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And this is Constance Murphy. Miss Murphy, last known to be living in Oaks Bluff. She's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And take a look at Stephen Cowart. Mr. Cowart, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance. And we'd like you to take a look at Lisa Allen. Miss Allen, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted on failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Marquavius Hewley. Mr. Hewley, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for bond revocation on possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana first. We'd like you to meet Johnny Kaiser. Mr. Kaiser, last known to be living in Ohatchee. He's wanted on a failure to appear for domestic violence, strangulation, or suffocation. And meet Javon Place. Mr. Place, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance, resisting arrest, and attempting to elude. And this is Rachel LaPlante. Miss LaPlante, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, use and possession of drug paraphernalia, and theft of property forth. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup that you might know where they are. If you do, call Crime Stoppers or call the Sheriff's Office directly. You call, they haul. We are here with Alberta McCrory, the mayor of Hobson City. We've had you on almost every month now for a while, but we had something really special happen this past week at Hobson City, didn't we?
We did. We had our annual, our 123rd Founders Day celebration, and we had our Mayor's Heritage Banquet on Thursday night, and I know you were in the house, and it was a wonderful event. I mean, we sold tickets for that event at $35 a ticket, and someone said, well, people are not going to pay $35 to come to Hobson City. And we didn't have the banquet in Hobson City. We went to Anniston only because they have a larger facility. And they have a kitchen, so you know the amenities were much better, but the people came out. We probably could have sold 400 tickets. And Dr. Satcher was our guest speaker, but everybody knows that Mrs. Juanita Jarras, who is a 99-year-old former teacher at Calhoun County Training School who taught Dr. Satcher, she taught me as well. She stole the show.
She stole the show. Sheriff, you should have been there. It was a great meal. There were 300 people there, and Miss Jarras, she's 99. they very kind to introduce her and talk about her. And then somebody suggested she talk, and I was like, my God, this woman's 99 years old. She's tired of talking. Oh, she was not tired of talking. She was awesome.
And she wanted to know, I heard that she had taken a class of 1964 to the slush garden. I said, boy, she has lived long enough to have that kind of freedom that she would go to the slush garden with her students. And I understand that it was what she said the other night, you know, asking them, what are you teaching your children? What are you teaching your grandchildren? You know, and, you know, are you reading to them? And, you know, and the, you know, emphasis on reading, which is so important. And she was just ready to go, but, you know, they kind of set her down. But it was just awesome to have her in there, because when we recognized our teachers, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, when Dr. Satcher came down for our Black History program, it rained that evening and she couldn't come. Mr. Gerald was still alive at that time. He used to work with the school system as well. And so her children were afraid for her to come out Thursday night, you know, in a crowd at her age, and they had some concerns about, you know, her being in the crowd. And so I told you, and I've said it to other people, I've said this to other people, they thought they were making the decision for her, but I'm sure she made that decision that she would come to that event Thursday night, and she did show up, and it was awesome. We had a good, diverse group of people there. We had a lot of good help.
Yeah, it was a great event.
Planning everything from the very beginning to the end. We had a lot of good help from the school. CCTS has a reunion association.
Oh, okay.
So several of those people came in and helped to get things ready, you know, typing up the program and getting everything to the printer and getting the plaques and, you know, deciding on the meal and all of those things. Everything just went smoothly. And we had a great time, and we'll be, as soon as we settle up everything, we'll see what amount of money we will have to give our first donation to the Community Foundation for those funds that we have set up to help renovate the building that we're in, the old Calhoun County Training School, C. Hannah Elementary School. So
yeah, you've
we're
got a
working
great
on
partnership starting with the Community Foundation, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I told them we kept waiting, trying to see what would be a good fit for us. There's an outfit, I understand, an organization in New York that helps African Americans raise funds. But I wanted someone locally that knows us and that we can know and know them on site and things like that. And I knew that it was not something that we could take on by ourselves. Right. Because of all of the negative reporting of our finances in the past. And I wanted people to be reasonably sure or absolutely sure that every penny that they give us to help renovate that building, that's what it's going for. And so we went in and started doing some things and making sure that we, you know, get our audits and get them, you know, up to date, and, you know, keeping better records and, you know, having auditors to work with us. But I can't wait forever for everything to get straight, you know, lined up right. And Jennifer said to me one day, you know, we can help you with that. And it was just like, you know, that opened up the door, and we've just been running with that ever since.
Yes, Jennifer Maddox, the CEO of the Community Foundation. Really, you're familiar with the Community Foundation. They provide grant money to all kinds of organizations, and kind of started with the Stringfellow Family Trust, I think. Is that right, Sheriff?
I believe so.
Yeah. Wonderful community organization, and they're working with Hobson City to help renovate the
old Calhoun County Training School, C.E. Hannah Elementary School.
And maybe next year's celebration, we can have it in Hobson City in a building with your own kitchen and stuff.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a kitchen by then, and maybe expand that FEMA building and do some other things. We've got some space, and there's some things that we can work on. And I understand people want to have everything in Hobson City, but, you know, Anniston is okay, and Oxford too. You know, we're good to have good partnerships and good relationships with the mayors of, you know, both of those cities. Mayor Draper was there, but he didn't get a chance to speak because he needed to leave. And Mr. Folks, we know, was with the Main Street program. They had a meeting in Opelika during the time that we were meeting. But we had a very good banquet, but we also had some good general sessions. We had someone there from the USDA, from the Montgomery office, that shared with us about all of the different programs that they have, including funding for homes, funding for recreational buildings, and just all those programs that they have that if you don't ask somebody, you won't know that they are available to you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, you can tell us all about the other stuff you did all last week, because you're a tired lady, I know.
Yes,
Stay with us here for the second half of the lineup, and we'll be right back with you on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Kashandra Huckabee. Mr. Huckabee, last known to be living in Fairfield. He's wanted for a probation violation on breaking and entering a vehicle times 11. And this is James Poff. Mr. Poff, last known to be living in Piedmont. He's wanted on failure to appear for possession of a controlled substance and possession of marijuana second. Take a look at Jonathan Birch. Mr. Birch, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana second, use in possession of drug paraphernalia, and carrying a pistol without a permit. And take a look at Barbara Chastain. Miss Chastain, last known to be living in Cedartown, Georgia. She's wanted on failure to appear for receiving the stolen property first. And this is Tyanisha Lawson. Miss Lawson, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for probation violation on theft of property third. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these folks, and we hope you do, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 1-833-251-7867. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup, and if you did, call the sheriff's office. You call their hall. We are here with Alberta McCrory, Mayor of Hobson City, and Sheriff Matthew Wade, and we're talking about your 123rd
123rd
Founders Day events that had that big mayor's dinner on Thursday, but you had a lot of other stuff going on last week.
We did, because we started out on Sunday with a revival, renewal, revitalization kind of thing, restoration for people, in the park. Our area pastors, Reverend McKinney, Reverend Chapman from Oak Ridge, Reverend McKinney from New Hope, Ms. Evangelist Elizabeth Hughley from the Covenant Church, and Evangelist Barbara Ward from New Jerusalem. So they were there, and then we had I think they called, the name of their group is Weapons of Praise, and so it was a good time out in the park. We had a tent up, and the people came and sat under the tent and enjoyed everybody speaking and preaching, so that was great. And we had several general sessions, presentations. Attorney Cleo Thomas was with us on Thursday afternoon. He was our guest speaker. And we had, as I stated, the gentleman from USDA came, and we also had the Black Heritage Council, which is part of the Alabama Historical Commission.
Okay.
They were there on Thursday. And Lee Centel with the Alabama Department of Tourism. So
okay.
They're going to be working with us on our museum. And you asked me, what was next. We have 2 or 3 things that are in line to be next. And we're going to continue to work on our museum. We're continuing to develop our board for the revitalization of the school. And we still have some places that we have not filled. And Alabama Power is going to work with us. They have this thing to do community work in terms of economic development and things like that. So they're going to be working closely with us as we try to help design how we want to go forward with what we're doing in Hobson City.
So you're going to have the revitalized school, and that'll be a museum and meeting center down there. You're going to have a lot more activity. That's a lot more people coming to Hobson City.
Yes, Saturday. Now, that's the big day in the park. And, this time we didn't have the sheriff department there, and we didn't have the cameras. But we do have a camera that, zooms in on everything that happens in that park to a certain extent. But this time, usually they are kind of centered close around the park and proximity of the library and just above the park. But this time, people set up at home in their yards for, people didn't want to get into the big crowds. And then they spread out from the sewing plant on back toward the football field, if you understand Hobson City and know where things are located. So we probably had about 16 or 1,800 people in Hobson City. And by the time it was time to start shutting down to go home, people started coming in. And so I understand there were a few little trying to be fights, you know, with the wannabe gangsters, and that's really not what they want to be. And we really want to try to encourage them that, you know, I tell them, go watch 48 Hours. If you think this stuff is easy and funny, you know, it's not, because when you get into trouble, Sheriff, you know,
Absolutely.
they out there with the little friends, and if I'm with you, and you pull the trigger, I get the same time you get.
That's right.
And they need to understand that. And so, but they were there. We know it was a lot of smoking, you know, the funny weed stuff. But nobody got hurt, Sheriff. We didn't have to call you all to come down there at all, and that's a good thing. But now we don't want to keep on. That kind of was a little test in the ground. But it's funny that people will really behave when the sheriff is there, because we had some people to come in and just get out of their car, one gentleman, and remove the barricade and put it to the side and drove his vehicle through. And it was like he was looking like, now say something. You know, and nobody said anything to him, because we figured either he didn't know how to read or something else was going on with him. And so we just let him sit there and look like he wanted to look. But we shouldn't have to have the police. And we know that you all are stretched out all over this county. And we can really police ourselves if we just really learn how to behave. And so we had a good time. I don't think nobody fired any shots or anything.
Not that I'm aware of.
And that's a good thing. And we want to keep on having this. And we had vendors who came from as far away as Chattanooga, Tennessee, vendors from Carrollton, Georgia, and then our local vendors who came. And we want this to grow, and want people to see Hobson City in a very positive light, and come to this city that's the first incorporated black city in Alabama. And we had a good group of people out there on Saturday, a diverse group of people out there, and so it was fun. And we wanted to continue to be family friendly.
Right.
And I haven't talked with the group that helps to organize that, but I do want to tell them that as we move forward, we really do have to look at safety and some other issues, you know. And I was a little bit, this time, we all had some concerns about having a police presence out there, because, you know, we've had these situations where people gather and people come and shoot up in the crowd. We didn't know if anything like that would happen. You have to be concerned about that, just like you're concerned about the school.
Sure.
Well, as you grow and more things happen, Sheriff, I know we'll work with you, and there's probably some grants out there. But we gotta take another break.
Okay.
We were so happy to have you on the show, and it was
so
such a
good
great
to be
week
here,
last
and
week.
it's so good to look out there in the audience and see you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to come and talk about the great things that we're doing. And we're looking forward to working with Alabama Power and with the Alabama Department of Tourism, and you'll be hearing some more good things about Hobson City.
Lots of good stuff coming from Hobson City, and we've got lots of good stuff yet to go on this show. We'll be back with the Crime Stoppers portion and our crazy criminal here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to the Crime Stoppers part of our show, where we ask you to help our investigators with the following cases. First up, between August 9th and August 10th, an orange steel backpack blower, steel chainsaw, Milwaukee impact driver, drill, skill saw, reciprocating saw, 8-foot extended light tower, a Syntax chainsaw, and yellow Romex wire were all stolen from a home under construction on Old Downing Mill Road in Anniston. And sometime between July 17th and July 23rd, a red Ibanez 4-string bass guitar and a purple Ibanez 4-string electric guitar and a dark brown J. Tercer electric guitar were all stolen from a 2011 Nissan Sentra parked at Ridgedale Drive in Oxford. And between July 12th and July 28th, a black Bluetooth speaker, security safe, social security card, black Bulova watch, and other miscellaneous items were taken from residents on Church Street in Anniston. That's it for the Crime Stoppers cases. If you have any information on these cases, please call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
It's crazy criminal time.
It is. And Josh Hanson of Dallas, Texas.
One of the Hanson brothers.
I'm not sure if he's the Hanson brothers or not. I don't know if he sings or not, but he was in jail, and he escaped from jail.
Oh.
And got all of that liquor and bugler and some drugs, and attempted to sneak back into jail with those items. So,
Really?
yeah, he got caught. And you know, to say that somebody normally escapes from jail, they don't normally try to get back in, but he did. He tried to bring those items in, and there's like a little Crown Royal there and some brandy.
Yeah, he was just
So,
trying to have a party, you know.
Just trying to have a
It's
party.
boring in jail. There's not much to do.
I would disagree with jail being boring. Well, it might be boring. It's very interesting. It's not a place you want to be. But
Well, that would help.
I guess liquor would take the edge off.
Yeah, it would take the edge off. Make him a little money on the side.
So he now has an escape charge, and I don't guess he got to drink any of his liquor or marijuana or bugler or anything he had.
So what do you think the corrections officers were thinking when they caught him coming back in with that?
You know,
Would that be that phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning you just laugh at?
yeah, I'd say, well, at least we got him. At least he's not run off somewhere. So, you know, he's just trying to get a little party favors.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, running a jail is a tough business. It's the highest liability part of sheriff's office, isn't it? You know.
Running a jail's tough. It's you know, we have about over 400 people, so that's 400 lives that we're accounted for, and do our best to take care of them and treat them the proper way while maintaining public safety. Because nobody really wants to think about a jail, but nobody wants dangerous criminals out on the street either. So.
No, and the sheriff's office does a great job at keeping this community safe, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate you folks for tuning in each week, and we'll see you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.